G'day folks, it was a big week last week and of course it's come to that time of the day.
Week that was.
So the weekend we saw a busy weekend of opens with 71 groups through open homes over the weekend. Standouts were 12 groups through 8 Bells Lane and then 9 groups through 315 Flemings Road in Grenville, so there's plenty of people about still. 10 through 1018 Gregory Street. So if you remember Saturday it was really cold and chilly, people are out and about. We've still got buyers active in the area. So guys, if you're thinking of selling, it's time to make that move now. On the good news side of things, I always like to research my information out of the Ballarat Times. It's always got good news floating through that paper. And it's picked up the Rotary Club of Alfred. They've donated $1,000 for the 3BA winter appeal. That's superb. Ballarat Farmers Market is set to open this Saturday around Lake Wendouree. Hopefully everything stays in plan for that as a result of the latest things happening in Melbourne. And also a tram in a winery. Who would think you'd have a tram in a winery? Well, I took the opportunity to catch up with Michael Unwin of Michael Unwin Wines to discuss that. So Michael, thanks for letting me catch up with you today.
Nice to see you here.
Yeah, it looks you've got a great setup, but I'd like to ask you a few questions. Winemaking, how did that come about for you?
When I left high school, I studied horticulture.
Yep.
And then a couple of years after I graduated, I was cycling around France one autumn and kept seeing grapes in the vineyards. Stopped, get off my bike and steal a few and all that, and then went to stay with some people who'd been ag exchange students, and they said, why don't you go and pick grapes? And they got on the phone and half an hour later said, go and work for this man René Roy in Epionay in Champagne. So I rode my bike over there. It took me a day and a half, and that was 36 years ago. That's
so
what I've
how
done
many
ever
years
since.
were you in France doing that?
I've spent 8 vintages in France over the years. So I was there for 3 years, I think, with René at the time. Then I went back to New Zealand. I was a Kiwi before I was Australian, and then I was working as an assistant winemaker and kept on studying. I'd go over for their autumn, for their harvest, and me back to my big job for our own harvest.
So for your winemaking here, where do you source your grapes from?
So these days we've got our vineyards right here, which is at the winery, but we have always had grapes coming from the Grampians, Great Western around the Grampians, the Pyrenees. We get a little bit from Murrable, and so look with those varieties, and then plus around around Ballarat.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Now, was both at the beginning of your cellar door? Was that your first one?
Yeah, we'd already started making wine. We started making wine in Ararat, in the old weaving mill there. We had space, and then we built the winery in Beaufort, and that was the first time we had a cellar door of our own. And
that was 16 years ago?
16 years, 2004.
So what was the move to these premises now? What was the idea behind that?
So we've had this 100 acres here for 5 years, and I've been establishing the vineyards the whole time. So look, as soon as we bought this property, it was inevitable that we're going to put everything in the same place. So winemaking, packaging, warehousing, cellar door, vineyards.
Now folks, if you haven't been out here, it's a terrific setup, and it's only 9 kilometres out of Ballarat, the centre of Ballarat. So our own local winery, I think it's on your website there, Michael. So we're pretty impressed to have that.
Well, there's not a lot around, but certainly in the city of Ballarat, we're the only vineyard with a winery and etc.
Do you have any future plans for the cellar door? I know we've only just opened back in February, so what are your plans for next stage?
Oh, there are loads of plans. We've only been open these few months, so we're still doing a lot of landscaping. We're getting the whole cellar door set up. There's a lot of work to do in the whole winery, basically. I think the landscaping and getting our commercial kitchen will take a while, but that will eventually happen. Yep,
terrific. Now, what is your favourite wine in this winery here? Mine's certainly the Umbrella Man, but I'm sure you've got a better favourite than that.
Yeah, look, the Tattooed Lady Shiraz is my favourite. It's our top wine. Do you want to reach for a bottle? There you go.
As long as I don't drop the whole lot.
You'll feel important holding it. Do you? So there you go. So for the special occasion, that's certainly
the Tattooed Lady 2014. Was that a good year?
A very good year. Yep. Very happy with that, and that's a feature of the Tattooed Lady. So it actually gets aged and matured for 5 years before it gets bottled. So there's a lot of loving and attention gone into that wine.
Oh, great. Now, the reason I'm out here, Michael, I follow the Ballarat Times and I look for good news stories, and it came up about the tram that you got put out the front of the winery. What's the story behind the plans with that tram? What's you going to do with it?
Well, we were lucky to be allocated it because there won't be that many more. They've done quite a big allocation, and they gave it to us because it will. We had to apply and then pay a certain amount, and we've got to get it established. But basically, our submission was that it will be available to be seen and used by the public. And so where you can see it right at the moment as you go past on the Avenue of Honour or Remembrance Drive, we'll have it move it eventually to the north side of the cellar door, so looking out at the mountains, and so it'll just be a place where you can go and sit.
That sounds good in the springtime. Sit there with a glass inside the old tram and.
Summer, winter, it should be nice, and
if you have a couple of bottles, you might find yourself losing the tram to some other location.
That's right, You're going somewhere in a stationary tram.
That's exactly right, the own trip. Look, thanks for your time, Michael. It's been great catching up.
Thanks for coming out.
And great venue, and folks, do yourself a favour, support the locals and come out to this winery and have a good tasting and fill your boot up with some bottles. That's what it's all about. Thanks again, Michael. Catch us all later. I'm certainly a lovely fella. That's our wrap for this week. I'll catch up with you on Wednesday for the Suburb Report. In the meantime, stay safe. See you then.